In a distant future where humankind had clawed its way out of obscurity to stand among the stars, Earth was no longer an isolated rock, but part of a vast intergalactic coalition. The galaxy teemed with civilizations, some benevolent, others predatory, and humanity's place within it hung precariously on the edge of annihilation. To survive, they needed more than diplomacy. They required warriors. And so, under the watchful eye of the Galactic Council, humanity embarked on an unprecedented military experiment. At the heart of this effort stood Alex Carter, a grizzled veteran whose reputation preceded him. Known simply as the Kill Count Trainer, he wasn't chosen for his charm or charisma, but for his brutal efficiency and unyielding resolve. He had spent decades training soldiers across multiple worlds, turning raw recruits into killing machines capable of facing the galaxy's deadliest threats. Now, his task was to prepare humanity's first-ever galactic battalion, a group of misfits, idealists, and desperate volunteers who would represent their species on the battlefield. The training facility loomed like a monolith against the barren landscape of Proxima Centauri b. It was designed by alien architects using materials unknown to human science, giving it an eerie, otherworldly glow at night. Inside, rows of eager faces stared back at Alex from beneath sweat-soaked brows. These were not seasoned fighters, but ordinary people plucked from all walks of life. Farmers, engineers, teachers, even a poet who claimed she could write sonnets about warfare if given the chance. Alex paced before them, his voice cutting through the oppressive silence. "You think you're here because you want glory? Because you believe you can save your planet?" His gaze swept over the crowd, lingering briefly on each face. "No, you're here because you have no choice." Out there, he gestured toward the star-speckled sky visible through the dome above. "There are things that will tear you apart without hesitation. If you don't learn how to fight, you'll die. If you hesitate, you'll die. If you fail, we all die." A young man named Leo raised his hand timidly. "Sir, what happens if we win?" Alex stopped mid-step, fixing Leo with a steely glare. "Winning isn't enough. Surviving is winning. But make no mistake, you won't just survive. You'll become something greater, something feared." Training began immediately, relentless and unforgiving. Days blurred into nights as recruits endured simulations designed to push them beyond their limits. They faced holographic enemies modeled after some of the galaxy's most dangerous species, hulking brutes with razor-sharp claws, insectoid swarms that overwhelmed with sheer numbers, and shadowy assassins that struck without warning. Each scenario forced them to adapt quickly, teaching them that hesitation meant death. One recruit, a wiry woman named Mia, struggled during early combat drills. Her movements were clumsy, her aim off-target. Other recruits whispered behind her back, calling her weak. But Alex saw something different, a spark of determination buried beneath layers of self-doubt. After hours of personal coaching, he handed her a modified plasma rifle and said, "This weapon doesn't care about your fear. It only cares about accuracy. Use it wisely." Mia proved herself weeks later when a live-fire exercise went awry. A malfunction caused one of the target drums to veer wildly off course, threatening to injure several trainees. Without thinking, Mia stepped forward, steadied her breathing, and fired 3 precise shots that disabled the drone mid-flight. Cheers erupted from her peers, and though she tried to play it cool, Alex noticed the faint smile tugging at her lips. As months passed, the recruits transformed. Their bodies grew leaner, their reflexes sharper. Bonds formed between them, forged in the crucible of shared suffering. Leo became the de facto strategist, analyzing every simulation and devising tactics that maximized their chances of success. Another recruit, a burly ex-miner named Theo, emerged as the team's morale booster, cracking jokes even during the toughest drills. Together, they learned to trust one another, not just as teammates but as family. But Alex knew trust alone wouldn't be enough. Real battles weren't fought in controlled environments. They were chaotic, unpredictable, and merciless. To drive this point home, he introduced the final phase of their training, the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet was a sprawling arena filled with shifting terrain, environmental hazards, and AI-driven adversaries, programmed to mimic real combat scenarios. Recruits entered alone, armed only with basic gear and their wits. Those who survived earned their place in the battalion. Those who didn't, well, Alex refused to sugarcoat failure. Death teaches lessons, he often said. Survival reinforces them. When Mia stepped into the gauntlet, she felt her pulse quicken. Shadows danced along the walls as artificial winds howled around her. She moved cautiously, scanning for threats while trying to conserve her limited ammunition. Suddenly, a pack of mechanical beasts lunged from the darkness, their metallic jaws snapping hungrily. Mia dove aside, firing blindly as adrenaline surged through her veins. One beast fell, then another. By the time the third collapsed, she realized she'd been holding her breath. Hours later, battered but alive, Mia emerged victorious. Alex greeted her with a rare nod of approval. "Not bad," he said gruffly. "Now do it again tomorrow." Finally, the day arrived. Humanity's debut in the Galactic Army was set to take place on Epsilon 9, a contested moon ravaged by centuries of conflict. Intelligence reports indicated that a rival faction, the Varnari Consortium, planned to seize control of its mineral-rich surface. If successful, they would gain resources powerful enough to destabilize entire sectors of the galaxy. As the battalion disembarked onto the scarred terrain, Alex addressed them one last time. "Remember why you're here," he said, his voice steady despite the weight of what lay ahead. "Not for fame, not for medals, but for survival. For Earth. Make them regret ever crossing us." The battle raged fiercely. Plasma bolts streaked across the sky, illuminating the jagged landscape in bursts of neon light. Despite being outnumbered, the humans fought with ferocity honed by months of rigorous training. Leo coordinated ambushes, luring enemy forces into traps. Theo charged headlong into melee combat, wielding a vibroblade with devastating precision. And Mia, perched atop a rocky outcrop, picked off key targets with sniper-like accuracy. When the dust settled, the Varnari forces retreated, leaving behind scorched earth and shattered remnants of their once formidable army. Humanity had proven itself not merely as survivors but as warriors worthy of respect. Back aboard the command ship, Alex watched as the recruits celebrated their hard-won victory. They laughed, embraced, and toasted to their fallen comrades. For the first time in years, Alex allowed himself a small smile. These ragtag individuals had defied expectations, proving that humanity's greatest strength lay not in technology or brute force, but in resilience and unity. As the galaxy took notice of humanity's fearsome debut, whispers spread among the stars. "Beware the Terrans," diplomats warned. "They may be new, but they are not weak." And somewhere amidst the revelry, Alex muttered under his breath, "Good."